Amanda, should we tell them the big news?
Okay, go for it.
Well, guys, welcome to the last episode of Imperfect Strangers ever.
For 2020.
For 2020. Can't even keep a straight face.
We're such assholes.
For 20. Just kidding. It's the last episode ever for 2020.
But if you're crying right now, that's the best response that we could ever hope for.
No, we are just going on a little hiatus from now through January 8th. So today's very special episode with our special guest, Kareen, will be the last one that you get for this year, this long pandemic year. But then when you come back in 2021, brand new and refreshed, we'll have an all-new episode January 8th.
So have no fear. If you are a patron of Imperfect Strangers, you will continue to get new content week over week. So when we pick back up on the 8th, it'll be like no time has passed. But on that note, it is the last episode. And so we want to go ahead and we want to thank our patrons for continuing to support this podcast, for believing in us, and for showing your support. We hope that you guys like the content that we're putting up in there. And we hope that you'll continue to support the show. And if you haven't yet joined Patreon, shit, you've got now, 4 months of content that you can go in and binge right now if you want.
It'll be a good thing to binge during the hiatus, too. Like, you'll be missing us and shit. So, like, let me go see what these girls are up to. So, without further ado, we would like to thank you, our wonderful patrons over on Patreon. And I will start it off by thanking you, Jasmine M., Jennifer Z., Nicole C., Nzinga B., Patrick RL, Tiffany S., and Monica E. Thank you so much for continuing to support our podcast.
Thank you, Kristen B., Janelle C., Jessica R., Liz W., Sarah A., Aaron H., Gregory A., and Casey T.
Natalie B., Kendra L., Megan S., Aaron C., Jess M., Moni B., thank you so much.
Thank you, Kay Shay, Katie S. I think I just fucked that up. Thank you, Katie S. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Kristen W. Kimberly with an I, N. Dion. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Jixa.
Bailey K, Stephanie J, Jen B, Liz W, Jessica S, Holly M, and Cameron W. Come on down and get your thanks.
Thank you, Stephanie F. Thank you, Wendy W, Shelly C, Summer, Claire RB, and Sahara S.
Nick M, Sheila A, Kristen B, Kelly W, Sandy C, and Tia, thank you so much for supporting our podcast.
Thank you, Sharon S. Thank you, Latoya B. Marissa L. Moving on to page 2. Thank you, Demita H. and Iris B.
Jenny S., Whitney W., Desiree P., Megan S., Mary Ann N., Trisha O., and Maggie S. Thank you so much for supporting our podcast.
Thank you, Susan Y., Jessie B., Allison I., Sydney B., and Nightingale.
Elizabeth S., Leslie S., Gabby O., Vivian D., and Annette A. Thank you so much for supporting our podcast.
Thank you, Murky. Thank you, Monica L., Joanna D., Brienne M., and Galen G.
And last, and definitely not least, thank you, Trisha D. and Amy F. For your continued support of our podcast. OGs in the house. Thank you. It has been a long and arduous 2020, but with this podcast, we have survived together, a big old community of nice stranger friends, and we'll see you on the flip side.
We'll see you on the flip side.
That,
enjoy the episode, guys.
Yeah, they really might see us on the flip side. Listen to this episode. Somebody here is psychic. Okay.
All right, let's go.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
so excited. We've literally been talking about this since you said yes. Very pumped because I first, well, and let me just go ahead and introduce you because you are our first interview for the show. So today we are talking to psychic and medium Kareen. And as you guys know, I am a podcast junkie and I listen to Coffee Convos because I'm also obsessed with Teen Mom. And Kareen was a guest with Kale and Lindsay on Coffee Convos. And I was so intrigued listening to you. And I think you did a reading for another teen mom. And so then, of course, I got on Instagram and I found you and I've been following you. And then since Melissa and I have been recording, we've had a couple of conversations in the podcast about different things that have happened to us. And we refer to it as the woo-woo on the show, but signs and things that have happened. And so I started tagging her in your card pulling posts. And then we like totally abandoned our own live one night to go watch yours. And
do you remember that night?
I do. I remember that night.
Sorry about that.
Because everyone started commenting. We're from Perfect Strangers pod. I was like, what? What are you talking? I'm so confused. Is that like something that I don't watch the news, and so people will refer to things, and I'm like, what happened? What are you talking about? And so then that's when I stumbled across you guys, and that's when I said yes. So I don't know if you guys DM'd me before, but I have a whole bunch of messages, and to be honest, I don't look at them all anymore, just because it's a lot, and then I start like. People will ask me questions. Oh, there's a lot of questions in there. And so I'll start tuning in and it's just really fucking draining. So, am I allowed to say the F word?
Oh my gosh. Welcome to the show.
Okay.
That's what we do.
Sorry. I was going to say, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Oh, no,
it's hard for me to filter myself.
Oh, no, we do that around here.
Okay, cool. Then I'll just fit right in.
I'm sorry, I interrupted Amanda. Okay, so she got me into pulling the cards. Yes.
So, and then you started your first podcast, and of course, I was like, okay, let me get in on this. So I started listening, and then, anyways, it just became this thing where I was like, I think we need to get her on and talk to her because we've also found that our listeners are also into the woo-woo, and they've been responsive. Recently, we talked about what? Well, I know you don't do like astrology. You're not like into that. Like that's not your specialty. Not saying that you're not into it, but it's not your specialty. So we talked about astrology recently. We had a whole episode where we talked about signs from loved ones that we recognized. Between the two of us, we have conversations continuously about angel numbers. So I'm going to save that for the end because I really want to get in and have you talk about how you figured out that you had this gift, and then your own skepticism, because I think that's really interesting, because I think a lot of people, when they hear psychic and medium, they think Miss Cleo and they're like, oh, it's a scam. So I think that your perspective and being like, I also thought that this was a load of shit.
My husband, it's so funny because he's like, I hate the word psychic. It just reminds me of Miss Cleo. I'm like, who the fuck was Miss Cleo? And then he like showed me a picture and everything. So that's actually why I took the psychic out of my name. And I'm just like, okay, I'm a medium. So, yeah. Now I know who Miss Cleo is. Yeah, I just feel like it's kind of like the... I don't know, when people think psychic, they think like psychic fair and the like someone smoking a cigarette, missing teeth, and like they're just like ripping you off. I have most of the clients that I have, I'll ask them, have you ever had a reading before? And they'll say, yeah, but it was fake. And so I think that's the image that I have in my head when I think Miss Cleo. I don't know anything about her, by the way. I don't know if she was like Sylvia Brown. I have no idea.
She was a total scammer.
Okay, cool. Then the image in my head is correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think she was a pop cultural staple. Okay.
See, I liked Sylvia Brown, and then recently I watched this. I think it was Dateline. There was these. I think there was 3 girls, maybe there was 4 that got kidnapped individually, and this guy was keeping them locked in his house. And the Dateline episode told every single girl's story, and one of them, her mom got a reading from Sylvia on Montel Williams, and Sylvia had told the mom that the girl died. And I swear to God, I think the mom died like 9 months later, maybe 2 years later, and she died from a broken heart. So then after I heard that, I'm like, that's fucked up. Like, normally we I don't know, I know we're not always like 100% right, but we should be able to pick up on if someone's alive or not. So my point is now I feel like Sylvia Brown was a scam.
Oh, yeah, she was definitely a scammer.
Oh, my goodness.
For sure, she was a scammer. Miss Cleo was a scammer.
Books.
I mean, that was true, but she was at least funny and, like, interesting and a character. Sylvia Brown was just true scammer.
And, like, she copied somebody's book. I forgot what book it's called, but everyone started posting it when COVID hit because they said that Sylvia Brown's book came out and had predicted it. Yep. And she actually stole a chapter of somebody else's book that had predicted it. So, yeah, that's a little side note on Sylvia, the scammer Brown.
I remember that she predicted the pandemic, but then it turned out that it was all plagiarism. And you know how we feel about a copycat. No, ma'am.
Same.
Oh, no.
Ooh, good. Are you... Okay, wait. Do mediums hold grudges since you...
Yeah, I'm still a normal human. There's people I don't like, and I mean, hold grudges. I try not to, but I'm learning that this year, trying not to hold a grudge because it does affect us. So if something's affecting me in a negative way, I try to let it go. But yeah, I'm human.
Yeah, baby. Okay, well then I feel like we can start the conversation because we're all on the same page. Okay.
Okay, so why don't you start, I guess, at the beginning. I know your backstory, so I was trying not to explain too much to Melissa last night because she's not a weird stalker like I am. So maybe talk about the relationship you had with your aunt and go from there. Does that make the most sense, you think?
Yeah. So, well, I'll start when she passed away because I feel like that's when it all started. So my aunt passed away very unexpectedly. And at the time, my mom and I were extremely close, like best friends. And I was living at home at the time because I was a loser. And I think I was like 25. And I would move out, move back in, move out, move back in. I just couldn't cut that cord. Anyway, so my mom comes in my room hysterically crying, saying that my aunt died. And a couple of weeks leading up to it, my mom had said, something bad's going to happen. She was just on a bad path. And I wouldn't call her an alcoholic, but she was drinking and just, not making the best choices for herself. So I ended up driving up to LA with my mom. That night we went to my grandma's house, and my mom has a big family. There's 6 sisters and 1 brother, I believe, and they all have 100 children. And so everybody came over, and I ended up falling asleep on the floor. And that night I had a dream of her, and she showed me, I saw her and I was questioning her, like, I thought you were dead. And she took me around and showed me how everyone would deal with her passing. And it's like, she made me feel the emotions they were feeling. And so I woke up, I didn't tell anyone. And that type of thing continued to happen. And I ended up saving my money and doing some research. And for Mother's Day of that year, I booked my mom a session with a medium. And I was open to it because I, again, watched Sylvia Brown on Montel Williams and was very intrigued by it. But I'm a very stubborn person, so I don't really believe in anything unless I experience it myself. So I told my mom about it. My parents got in this huge fight. My dad was hardcore. He was raised Christian, but converted to Catholicism. And he believed in, if you go see a psychic, you're talking to the devil and it's bad, bad, bad. So long story short, he told my mom if she went to go see the medium that he would divorce her. So she went anyway, and I planned on sitting outside, but the medium was normal looking too, which was a surprise. I thought she was going to look like Sylvia Brown, And she's like, no, you're coming in. And I got scared after. I was like, oh no, fuck. I'm like, what if this is real? Like, what if she says stuff that I've been doing and whatnot? Yeah. And so we go upstairs, and immediately she she tells us how it works. Then she turns to my mom. My mom was kind of being cold and kind of being a bitch to her. And she says, you're very blocked. And if you're going to like act like this, then I'm not going to be able to read you. And so my mom's like, calmed down a little bit, tried to be more open. And so she turned to me and started reading me. And she said, there's a grandfather figure coming through, and he keeps holding this red rose and like sword fighting with it. And my grandfather had passed away, I don't know how many years prior, from a brain tumor. And one of the fondest memories I have was him at a wedding sword fighting with roses with my niece. And so I said, yeah, that's my grandfather. And I forgot what she said about him. And then she said, there's this persistent woman coming through. And that's the day it changed my life, because she brought up the most, I think it still is one of the best readings I've ever had. Anyway, she said, she keeps bringing me to your chest, and then she shows me you guys like hitting chest like guys do, like pounding your chest together. We both had fake boobs, and that's what we would do. Like when we saw each other, we would like hit our boobs together. And so she just kept going on and on about like all this evidential stuff that no one could know about. I had a tattoo on my side, and it's like underneath my underwear, and my mom didn't know about it. And she's like, she keeps saying, all the boys love your tattoo, all the boys love your tattoo, like taunting me. And she's like, do you know what that means? And I said, yeah. And my face turned bright red. And I was like, I don't want to talk about it. And then she told me, she's like, you're going to get pregnant in your mid-20s, and it's not going to work with the guy. And it's going to be really hard for probably 9 to 10 years. And but she's like pointing at you, saying, she's always going to be with everyone. She's going to be with your mom. But it's very important. She said she's always going to be with you on this journey. And she's lecturing me. And then she turned to my mom and said, this is weird, but she says you're wearing her underwear. My mom flips the fuck out and jumps up, and she's like, I put her underwear on. I guess her clothes that she dyed and were sent to her. My mom said in the morning, like, if this is you, bring up that I'm wearing your underwear. Not all mediums can do this, by the way. It's like very rare to get that much evidence. But it was like one thing after another. My mom had got a genie bottle and put her ashes in it, and she told us that she loves living in a genie bottle. And so after that experience, there was no way. It was just incredible. I was mind blown. So after that, it brought a lot of peace, because, well, one, I started questioning my belief system. I was raised, again, Catholic, and I don't know, I went to catechism and CCD, and they portrayed heaven to be like you go and you pray. It's like, well, I don't want to die and pray. Like, that's going to suck. So I never, I always feared death and whatnot. And so after that experience, I started researching just the afterlife, mediums, watching YouTube videos on it. I was just very intrigued by it. Sure enough, 3 months later, I thought I had food poisoning. It didn't go away. I went to the doctor. I got a pregnancy test. It was negative. And I continued to be sick, and then finally one day I went for a run, and something told me in my head, you're pregnant. And so I took a pregnancy test, and I was pregnant from one drunken night with this asshole from this bar I was working at. We were dating, but both of us were just like on really bad paths, and we boned in my car, and now we have a 10-year-old from it. But anyways, so after that happened, I was like, fuck, she warned me. I didn't listen. And I was 26, and so she said mid-20s. I'm like, no, you're off. I'm already 26. It can't happen.
Yeah.
So then after that happened, I was, I just knew that there was something more to it. So I got on Facebook, and I met this woman. So back in the day on Facebook, spiritual pages would have like practice threads. And so somebody would post and say, there's, you can post your question here, you can volunteer to be read, and all you need to do is give feedback and say like if it was right or not. And so I did that. I said, I want to be read by someone. And this woman named Kim picked me, and she said, brought up some stuff that I was going through, and and then she said that I had the gift and that I was going to write a book and be a celebrity one day and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, no, you lost me. She's like, meet me online tomorrow and on Messenger, and I'll show you how to do it. So I did, and she met me on Messenger, and she said, look at my picture and then tell me what you see. And it's going to be like, it's going to be in your head. It's going to kind of be like daydreaming. And so I said, okay. And so I just looked at her picture, and then I started seeing a helicopter and snow, and it crashed. And I just had this knowing that it was her dad. And so I told her that's what I saw and that's what I thought. And she said, yeah, that's how my dad died. I was like, no, I don't. Okay. Like, just lucky guess. And then she said, meet me online tomorrow. I'm going to have you read my cousin. So same thing. And that one was crazy because it was the same thing, but this time I saw this guy and he was on a motorcycle and he was like swerving left, right. And then I saw him crash into a telephone pole, but I didn't know who he was. I knew it was a relative. And she flipped out and she was like, that's exactly how my cousin died. Oh my God, you're so gifted, blah, blah, blah. And so I don't know. After that, I just thought it was like a fluke, like, lucky guess. I guess I just had, now thinking back on it, I think I thought it was different. I thought mediums like saw the person in front of them and heard everything clearly. And so I still didn't believe in it. And then I was a single mom, and I was like, I don't know, trying to like find myself, like very lost, and spent the next 2 years just doing research. And I got some angel cards and I would practice on people and I would get feedback and get really good feedback. But I was really scared. One, because I was taught it was really bad. And so I made a fake Facebook page under the name Caitlin Benter. I was scared my family was going to find out about it. And I don't know, the years rolled on and I still didn't really believe in it. But I would do it just to help people. And then I ended up working at a new bar, and I met this girl, and all I knew was there was a bunch of us. I worked at like a outside hotel summertime bar. So there's a bunch of girls that worked there, and there was one I met, and I knew that she had to, she asked me to work one of her shifts because she had to go to a funeral. That's all I knew. And so she texted me after saying thank you or something, and then all of a sudden I see this guy standing in front of me, and it's in my head, but it was like one of the clearest readings I still have ever done, and I couldn't hear him, but we were like playing charades, and he pointed at his hat, and I just texted her. I was like, hey, did you lose a guy friend, and was he into basketball? Because it was my gift of knowing, and did he have this color hat? I don't know anything about teams. And then he showed me around. It was kind of like he had a camera and he was like showing me what his apartment looked like. It was trash. There was like drugs everywhere, bong, beer cans. And then he showed me him injecting himself and overdosing. I saw him pop out of his body and like flipping the fuck out when he died. So I just told her. And she called me hysterically crying, and she's like, how do you know all of this? I'm like, I don't know. I just can see it. When you texted me, I just saw it. And she's like, everyone thought he killed himself, but I knew that's what happened. So then after she said that, I started seeing these visions in my head of like this fan in her room turning on and off. And I said, do you have a fan in your room that's been turning on and off? Because he's showing me him turning it off. And she's like, yeah, that happened last night. And so then after that, I'm like, okay, there's something to this. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh my God.
So I started.
Okay, but wait.
Okay, go ahead.
Real quick, the first medium that you met with your mom, medium to medium, could she see you had a burgeoning gift, or is it not like that?
No, and the funny thing is with that one, I wanted to sign up for a course with her, and she didn't believe in me at all, and she didn't pick me, and she basically, in a nice way, said like I wasn't ready for it. So all mediums are different though. There's some that are like ego based, meaning like into, how do I explain it? Like into themselves and like into like I'm trying to think of like a good label for her without sounding like a bitch. I think she was too confident, and she got in her own way because she stopped reading actually after that. And then I got a reading from it. It was really shitty. But I don't know. But usually medium to medium, yes. I will do readings for people. Like I did a reading for a girl yesterday. Her mom passed away. Poor thing. She's only 19. Anyway, I told her, like, you are so gifted. Because they show that. Like, it's a huge part of your life. But no, with the first medium, it did not come up at all.
So
and did you...
So you could... Sorry.
You're okay. Go. I know we're both like, oh, okay, so go ahead.
So you could technically be sitting with someone doing a reading, and that someone has no idea of their own gift, but you can glean from their energy that they have one.
Oh, yeah, 120%. I feel like it's the number one thing that pops up. I mean, everybody's gifted. Just the best way I can explain it are some people are blocked more than others because of like things that they've gone through or belief systems or just the way that they were brought up.
Do you think that your religious upbringing and like the fear that maybe had been built into you from the church, do you think that maybe you all like, were there things that happened to you before your aunt passed and started to show you those things, and maybe you just kind of like ignored it or tamped it down because you thought it was bad or evil?
Yeah. So my dad, I had a very abusive childhood growing up. My dad was very angry. He would beat the shit out of us for like not flushing the toilet, like pants down, belt, bare skin. And so I grew up very fearful, and I was very like, I feel like adults would call me overly sensitive. I did a lot of performing arts and I would cry very easily. I remember like a director saying I sang a song wrong and I would just start hysterically crying in front of everyone. And so I feel like it was more of going through the trauma, having an emotionally unstable mom and then an extremely abusive father that made me, that was where like the fear was built. And then I lived in 2 significantly haunted houses. The first one as a kid was scary and there was a little girl there. The second one in my teenage years was like poltergeist, like fuck with me. It would lock my door. It would pound on the bathroom door. It would ring the doorbell. It turned all the lights off a few times. It was so scary. I mean, it got to the point where I wouldn't even wash my makeup off my face because I was scared to close my eyes because I would feel something standing next to me, that I got an eye infection. And so I think it's funny. I was just thinking about this yesterday. I feel like that the psychic that told me that I was a medium, she had told me that there was this period of being tested where scary things happen and they like try to strengthen you, and some people do get scared and get scared off by it. And so after she had told me that, I just thought like, okay, well, this is only temporary. It's not going to continue. But yes, to answer your question, I don't think it was the religion that scared me. I think it was more of I had this knowing, like I know I'm an older soul than everyone in my family. Mm-hmm. And I had this knowing that they're going to be mad at me. They're not going to accept me. It's going to affect their belief systems if I do this. So, and it did. I mean, I had people after I was on Coffee Convos, my super Jesus thumper cousins started commenting on Coffee Convos, one of their Instagram posts that I was on, saying that I was dragging our family's name through the mud and that I needed to repent my sins and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, bitch, you like are like total, you can call me out for that, but you've totally had sex before marriage. And so like, if you're going to be it, be all of it. Don't just like call me out for doing one thing that you don't believe in. So anyways, sorry, I went off on a tangent. But
what is your relationship with God and religion now that you fully understand your gift?
I don't believe in religion. I have a close connection with Jesus, and I was raised Catholic. Well, my mom was hardcore Catholic, but my mom also instilled a lot of this in me. She believed in shamans and energy healing, and she would talk to me about like fairies and ghosts and angels and whatnot. And then my dad's side is the hardcore racist Christians. I mean, sorry, but that's how they were. And so they were like overly judgmental. And so my upbringing, I witnessed the people who were the more religious ones. This is just my perspective, so I don't need to get emails from people, but they were the ones that were very judgmental, and not loving. It was very confusing to me because I always thought religion was supposed to be love, and to me it was the opposite. Like, if I'm not going to be in this box, then you guys are going to disown me. And so I don't believe in religion. I do have experiences with Jesus. I connect with him almost on like a weekly basis. I believe in angels. I believe in Buddhism. I believe in everything. But I don't believe in being in a box. I don't believe if somebody commits suicide, they're going to go to hell, because 30% of the readings I do are suicides. I don't believe in a God judging someone for the color of their skin or their choices when it comes to sexual acts or whatever. I believe in love. So I pray, but I don't pray begging for forgiveness. I pray for guidance and whatnot. And prayer is, my thing with prayer is it's more of like an affirmation or an intention. So it's like, my intention is this. I don't have to sit on my knees and beg for something. So I do believe in like spiritual beings when it comes to religion, but I don't believe that like Jesus is the right way, or I don't even know other religions, all is the right way. I don't believe in any of that. I believe it all exists under one umbrella, and some people have to believe in what they believe in this lifetime to go through what they're meant to go through for their soul to grow. But I feel like religion is so damaging to people.
Wow. You know what? I grew up with a mom who tried to push Christianity on us, and it wasn't for me. And I kind of figured that out like in my early teens. But, you know, as you look at religions, it's like there are so many. I mean, if you just look at Christianity and the direct parallels between like that and paganism, it's like, okay, guys, well, I know that you're trying to tell me that like Jesus Christ was born on December 25th, but also, is anybody like paying attention to the fact that like all of this shit is like the same thing? It just has a different name, or like it's just kind of like there's just little nuances. But if you look at like the bigger picture of like all of these organized religions, there's so many similarities, and it's like it almost feels like there's just this like one overarching thing, and then everything kind of falls under it.
I feel like God, and I've been questioning this all year just because I have been trying to like upgrade my belief systems, but I feel like God is just a loving vibration. It's not a man. It's not someone that, and I do feel like I see it all the time. People cross over and you have to watch your life back, and there are like spiritual beings around them, Jesus, angels, other beings too, like fairies. I've had crazy experience I don't like talking about because I feel like people are going to put me in a loony bin. But the biggest thing with religion is I feel like it was born in a way to control people. And I feel like if you're still falling for it, I feel so bad saying that, but I feel like if you're still falling for it, there's something that you're fearing about growth, moving to the next step of your life and whatnot. That's not to say that again, like I'll use angels to protect myself before I do readings. So I do believe that angels exist. I've had crazy experiences with them. I do not believe in the rules of religion though. I don't believe in them at all. I believe if you kill yourself, you go to heaven. I see it and whatnot. That's not to say that you don't have to deal with watching what happens after the fact. I feel like suicide's like 50-50. Some people will be like, I am so fucking glad I did it. I do not regret it at all. And some people will say, damn it, I wish I would have got help. I wish I wouldn't have taken the easy way out. So it's definitely based off of reasons. A lot of people have mental health issues that they aren't aware of, and then they end up killing themselves because of it. And most of those people don't regret doing it. And I don't believe in hell either. I don't feel hell exists. I feel like Earth is hell, but I don't believe that there's like this scary monster that we go and it's like doom and gloom. I do believe in different dimensions though, just from the experience I've had. Meaning like there's a angelic dimension, and then there's like the elemental dimension where like fairies exist and stuff. And I know it sounds fucking crazy, but I swear to God, I've had experiences with them. I'm still learning about what's out there. Which is, it's funny because I do readings for a living, but I'm exposed to different spirits and whatnot. And I feel like more recently there's been a shift on this earth, and people are awakening and waking up. I hate when people say that, by the way. But anyway, I feel like we're all going to be exposed to different types of energies in the next probably 3 to 5 years.
sounds like what you're talking about is good and positive energy that then begets good and positive energy that then begets good and positive energy, and there's no like need to repent because everything just is what it is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And I like how you bring up the good and positive energy because I had this crazy experience this year with a shaman in Arizona. And I was having severe anxiety. I have anxiety issues. Well, I did. It's subsided since. But he had told me that my ego is at war with myself. And I said, I know I've been trying to kill my ego because that's what they say. And he's like, you can't kill your ego. It's part of you. You just got to love your ego. And after he said that, it like woke me up in a way where it made me realize like we all have an ego, and we all have good and bad in us. And I feel like the ego is the bad side of us. And then we all have like love inside of us. And so if we can focus more on the love inside of us and be more compassionate with ourselves, then we tend to be like that to other people and whatnot. So yeah, I like to live my life by just doing good and I don't believe in repenting. I feel bad for those people. I can't imagine living your life in fear, like, oh my God, I have to repent or Jesus isn't going to come. And the other thing too is I do feel like I have a really good relationship with Jesus. I feel like he's like my go-to guy. But I don't feel like, it doesn't feel like textbook Jesus, like what I was taught.
Right. So when you say Jesus, you're not talking about that image of the dude in the robe and the outstretched hands and he was on a cross. You're not talking about that. You're talking about God, really.
Yeah, I mean, I do see the image of that, but not like, I hate those images with like the crown on his head and the blood like falling down, like, not that. I just feel like all of that was, I'm going to piss a lot of people off, but I don't care. I feel like a lot of that was made up to fear, for people to fear and then to feel sorry for Jesus. And so then we spend our lives praising him. I do feel like Jesus was a human, and I do feel like he helped humans and whatnot raise their awareness, but I don't believe that he was put on a cross and sacrificed for our sins, and I don't believe in any of that.
Yeah. No, you're in the right place. You can talk all the shit that you want.
Dude, I get so many fucking emails. I mean, it's not as bad as it used to be, but like so many, like, you're going to go to hell. It's like, dude, I'll see you there. I mean, I don't care. Like,
now I always be like, what are you going to bring? I'm bringing this. I don't.
Right. We are in hell. That's the thing. Like, earth is hell. We have no awareness. We're all like struggling to figure out what our purpose is, why we're here. We feel pain here. And we don't when we pass away. And so when people are like, you're going to hell, I'm already in hell. And so are you, baby.
Oh, so one of the questions that I had for you is, I've heard you talk in your lives about turning your gift off, or like turning the volume down. And I know you're friends with Monica. I first saw Monica, my kid was in the ER overnight being monitored with croup, and it was on. And so that's kind of like Quinn and I's thing, is Monica the medium. And so on the show, obviously for the show's entertainment value, she'll just be like sitting at the beach, and then all of a sudden she starts to like, somebody starts talking to her. They're like sitting at a picnic table and their loved one is trying to talk to them. So can you kind of talk a little bit about tuning in for people when you're doing a reading, and then on the other side, like, how do you make it through your day, without having to like stop somebody at the supermarket and be like, your grandma needs to tell you this?
Monica really is like that. She does allow that, and she doesn't turn her gift off. I am different because I have struggled with significant bouts of anxiety, and my gift will play off of it. So if I'm continuously picking up on things, it's like when I'm reading, it's kind of like not having a panic attack, but my anxiety is like high. So if I'm always on, then I feel that way. And so it was fucking with my head. So I do turn it off, but if somebody's meant to come through, they do come through. The last time it happened to me, so what I do is I have this like ritual I do. I'll say a prayer and intention, please let only love and light beings come through, and then I light a candle, and my spiritual posse, my team, my spirit guides will allow spirits to come in. But they will let them come in if somebody needs a message. It's very rare though. It'll only happen a couple times a year. I was at this jump house like a year ago, and I was sitting next to this woman, and the baby was like, I think he was only like 1. And all of a sudden I started picking up on this woman's nephew, and he had showed me him in the ICU, and they had to plug the plug, and I knew it was her brother that had to do it, and he was struggling. And so I just turned to her. I was like, fuck it. And I said, I know this is really weird. I don't know if you believe in this, but I keep seeing, I'm a medium. I'm like, you can look me up. I'm not crazy. I'm seeing these images of, I think it was your nephew, this young guy. I described what he looked like, and he showed me his body, and he had third-degree burns. I didn't know how. He didn't show me that. And I said, he's showing me his dad struggling, pulling the plug, turning the machine off, and him like putting it off, and then finally doing it, and then regretting it after. And he's still regretting it. And she looked at me like, what the fuck? Like, and then hysterically started crying.
Oh my God.
And then she like started hugging me, and I just told her, like, he said that he's okay, and if he didn't want you guys to continue to keep him alive because his quality of life would have been horrible. And apparently this guy was smoking resin, like he scraped the resin from a bong, put it in a bowl, and kept trying to like light it on fire, and like kept letting the gas go. And he was doing it in the bathroom with the shower on, and somehow the gas built up, and he lit it, and it finally lit, and it went and caught him on fire. It's like, yeah, I've never heard of anything happening like that. But so anyways, it doesn't happen often to me. It will happen when I'm drinking though. Before, when me and my husband first got together, we would be out on dates, and I would start reading everyone, and then oh my God, I can't, I'm cringe now even thinking about it. It's so fucking annoying. And even now to this day, when I start drinking, it happens. But other than, I feel like it's just because it lets my guard down, and it just makes it easier. Yeah. But other than that, I have my rules, and maybe I won't always be like that. I feel like the last 4 or 5 years, I've struggled with like significant mental health issues. I had severe postpartum depression, and severe postpartum anxiety, and I've been forced to put myself first and work on that. And I feel like finally now I'm at the tail end of it. So maybe I will go back to doing that. I have no idea, but I kind of like how it is now. When I'm on, I'm on. When I'm off, I'm off. I like coming home and being a mom and just being normal and being able to live my life and not have to always like be Kareen the medium. I mean, people will be like, oh my God, do your kids look up to you? And or your husband? They don't give a fuck. They're like, what's for dinner? They have no respect for me at all. And it's kind of nice.
So wait, can you like sense a demon?
Oh yeah. But they're not like allowed around me. Like they can go fuck themselves. Correct. I have had experiences with them, and I feel like my whole life was me being fucked by them. So the thing is like when we grow up in like a very toxic environment, or even around toxic people, I call them lower vibrations, because lower vibration, it's like they like lower vibration, and positive vibration like positive vibration. So growing up with the dad that I had, I feel that it drew in a lot of negative entities, and that's why I had a lot of experiences that I've had. And then going through what I've gone through in my life with like dating shitty people, or having shitty friends, or keeping toxic family members around me, as I've cut them out, I've learned it's affected my mental health in a significantly positive way, because it's like releasing that negative feeling and whatnot. So I'm not scared of them. I've had psychic attacks where I'll like be in between wake and sleep, and I'm paralyzed. And it's funny because I started working on this in therapy, and I have this like revelation. Anyways, what used to happen for the like, I don't know, 6 years, I would be pinned down and be the same thing every single time. I'd hear footsteps coming. I knew it was like this demon coming to get me. And then I would see Jesus appear, and then I would start saying Hail Marys, which I don't even remember them anymore. And then I would ask him like, why aren't you saving me? And he's like, because I'm trying to show you that you're okay. And so so then more recently I'm in therapy working on some more childhood shit because obviously we're never done, but I feel like a lot of that negativity, the negative entities, was attached to my negative experiences with my dad. And so anyways, I don't believe in that. I mean, I do because I've had experiences with it, but I'm not scared of it because I feel like negative entities are like fear, and fear fuels them.
No, but I mean demons in like people. Like I have a really good track, and I'm not saying I'm a medium, but I'm saying I have a really good track record of like figuring out very early on when I meet people if I don't fuck with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I mean.
That's a gift of knowing. And so people have intuition, and
I be knowing.
Yeah, so I was going to say there's like everyone has like a natural intuition about them, and then there's 5 different gifts. You have the gift of knowing. I can just feel it, which is why I'm bringing it up. It's just this knowing, and I have the gift of knowing too, and I'll know if someone was talking shit about me. I'll know if someone wants to fuck my husband. I know if someone doesn't like me. And it's not always bad, but I struggled with it for a really long time, and then shit started to happen when I'm like, okay, that I knew this, and now I don't second guess it. I know it, like I feel it so strongly. It's just like a knowing. So yeah, there are people who feel like demons, though we're vibrating people, and I don't give a fuck if you're my dad. I don't give a fuck if you're my best friend. If you affect me in a negative way, I will cut you out of my life. Just because of the struggles that I've had with my mental health, it is not worth it to me. I usually keep people around me that even if they're slowly growing, I will then, yes, you're allowed to stay in my life. But if you're not, I do not see hope in it, and you're draining the fuck out of me like year after year, sorry. Like go figure your shit out and go work on yourself. So even people like that are like that are demons. They have a choice, and they can change their vibration, but most of them aren't aware and they choose not to.
And do you find that like very, very broken people are like drawn to you and like have a neediness?
It used to be the case. I feel like because I used to be like that. But I have boundaries now. Like I've learned the hard way. Yes, it was very, very draining, and I felt like, I mean, one of the belief systems that I was taught growing up was to not have boundaries, to give. Both of my parents taught me that. And no matter the case, no matter if you're like depleted, no matter if you're struggling yourself, and over the last probably 2 years, I've learned to put myself first. And I mean, I can't help everyone. And so again, when I'm on, and I'm off. And that's another reason why I don't go into my direct messages a lot. I have an assistant. I have an automatic email responder. I mean, I hear the most fucked up stories and see the most fucked up things that like, I help one person, there's 20 more in line. And so I try to have the intention of helping everyone that I can, but again, I have to like put a limit to it. So yeah, I attract a lot of broken people, but then there's also a theme to, as I grow, I feel like it changes the people that are drawn to me.
Well, that makes sense. You were talking a bit about, I think you did in a medium and a half, was talking about like raising your vibration and how, you know, there are so many different things that you can do to raise your vibration. And it not only does that affect you personally, but it affects the things that happen around you. So would that also, you think, affect your relationships?
Oh, completely. And I feel like people think like raise your vibration, you have to focus on it. No, basically raising your vibration is just doing what feels good to you. If that means like sleeping a little bit more, taking more time for self-care, not calling a friend back that's super toxic. If you don't want to see your family members, don't fucking see them. And I feel like I'm talking a lot about cutting people out, but I feel like it's because more recently there's been a theme with my own life and the readings that I've been doing where people are struggling. Like they feel like they don't have a choice, but you do. Like a lot of people are at jobs that they've been out for 20 years. I did this reading for this woman who, her boss like fired like 3 people and he hasn't replaced any, and she's been there for 20 years and she's just like so fearful in losing her job. But I'm like, that would be such a blessing to you because you're so miserable. So and so quitting her job would raise her vibration, and she has a lot of the same belief systems that I used to have of we just have to like put everyone before ourselves. It doesn't matter like how it makes us feel, and it's more about connecting with your heart and letting your heart be your guide, and that helps you raise your vibration. I'm not saying that it's easy. It's hard as fuck cutting people out, and sometimes it's hard to see the truth in relationships. But I don't know. I feel like everyone's gifted in a sense, and everyone does have a psychic side. And so, with that being said, I feel like negative people will affect you the same way as it does me. I'm just more sensitive to it, where I will legit get anxiety from being around someone that has really bad energy.
Now, when you say that everybody has a gift, how, like, I know you've talked before about like meditation and things that you can do. So like if somebody wanted to explore, you know, what their gift or gifts were, because you can have like, there's 5 clairs. How do you, like, how would somebody start?
So it's different for everyone, obviously. So how someone would start is first by educating yourself, because 9 times out of 10 you're already using the gift that you have, and it just comes very naturally to you, and you're not aware of it. So I feel like educating yourself on all of the clairs. So the gift of feeling, hearing, seeing, knowing, and then there's the taste gift. I never say I have the taste gift, but yesterday I was doing a reading for this chick. Her mom just died, and she kept making me taste beer because her dad's an alcoholic. It was fucking weird. It like tripped me out. So there's new things that pop up for me too. Anyway, educating yourself to make you aware of it, opening up your awareness is probably the best advice I can give you. So how do you do that? Just questioning everything about yourself. Why do I do things that way? Why do I feel? Questioning how somebody makes you feel, questioning how you feel about yourself. That opens up your gift of feeling. The gift of seeing is a lot of visualization. So the guided meditations would help strengthen that. And then working on your faith too, what you believe in. And right now, when I say working on your faith, I feel like maybe just being more open-minded, because I can't even fully say and define what I believe in. I just know what I've seen and what I've experienced. I've had some crazy fucking experiences. And so I know that, again, like the other beings exist, and I've had an out-of-body experience, and I have seen a fairy, and I have seen angels and Jesus and have stuff. And so the more open you are to it, the more aware you will be. And then with the awareness, then you'll start noticing it, and then that'll strengthen your faith. So meditating's great, but I don't feel like that's for everyone. And then I also don't feel like, it kind of feels like you go with your gut, your feeling, like what feels good to you. If you want to meditate, if you want to do yoga, a lot of people do yoga. I tell a lot of people to go to therapy to work on their shit, because that is what blocks people more than anything.
Interesting. So clairaudience would be like you could hear. Clairsentience is knowing. Clairvoyance.
No, clairsentience is feeling.
Feeling. Okay. Clairvoyance is seeing.
Uh-huh. And then there's the tasting, and then the knowing.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to say I'm a medium, but I be having some clairs. Okay.
No, the thing is like it's funny because how I got into this, like I've discovered my gift in like when I was 26, 27. And then it wasn't until my husband, told me to start doing this full time. And he's an accountant. He didn't believe in any of this shit, but I did a reading for him after I had gotten back from this crazy experience. And, he opened up to it more. Anyways, my point is I didn't really believe that I had any of these gifts. And the more that I strengthened them and educated myself and practiced is how I started to attune to it more. So yeah, you're a medium. Everyone's a medium. We all just have different gifts.
And you're going to, you were saying last night that you're thinking of offering classes starting in the new year. So if people were interested, they could definitely check you out and follow along and hone their own skills or build them.
Yeah, I used to teach from my house before, obviously, the pandemic, before I got pregnant with my second baby, my second pregnancy. And I loved it so much. And this whole year, I've just been trying to figure out like having a better balance for myself, because readings does a number on me. And it's funny, when I had dinner with Monica, she had told me, you're going to have to start doing group sessions. You're going to have to pull back. Don't let people book you out. I was booked out for like 6 months in advance, and she's like, don't allow that. And I'm so stubborn, I didn't listen. And then I started realizing, oh my God, this is why I just feel like I'm always working. Like even if I have 2 weeks off, it's like, well, I'm booked out until March. And so I feel like everybody's bitch.
Yeah.
So I pulled my schedule back. I actually just opened it up on Monday, and I'm only letting people book out for a month in advance. But anyways, yeah, I'm going to start teaching. I'm going to start doing some group sessions and trying to reach more people. So I'll still do one-on-ones. I love doing them, but I'm going to start exploring more. So I'm honestly doing it out of my own selfishness. I feel like my gift is good because I enjoy what I do, and I never want it to be like, fuck, I have to do this. I don't want to do it anymore. So I'm just going with my heart, and my heart is pushing me in the direction to start teaching again.
I see the number 44 literally every day, several times a day since a very close friend of mine passed. And then when I tell people about it, those people start to see it too.
Okay, so that's so funny that you say that, because I did a podcast episode on it, and then everyone, I got so many emails and DMs about people like saying they didn't notice it, and then they started noticing it too. So what happens is after you start talking about it, it plants a seed in somebody's head, and then it opens up their awareness and they start seeing it. The angel number 44 generally is connected to the angelic realm. 77 is the angelic realm as well, but it's like the higher vibrating angel beings, the seraphim. And so I feel like the message for you is that your friend made it, that they got to the angelic realm. And I also feel like it's a message for you to question I feel like you're really stubborn when it does, don't get mad at me, when it comes to your belief systems, or you tend to have like a set mindset. And it's not just with religious belief systems or whatever, it's overall, they make me feel like you're very stubborn. So I feel like you seeing something repetitively, it's going to start fucking with your head and make you question it and opening up to it more. So but it's different for everyone. So you seeing 444 would be different from me seeing 44 or 44. Mine's more like, hey, we're around, we got you, self-care time. I know that's the message for me, because then they will fuck me if not, because I've just had that happen. But aggressive, it's just because I feel like you're ignoring it. Do you just see it and you're like, oh, whatever?
Yeah. Well, what happens is I see it and I go, yeah, girl, I see it. Because I think it's her. I think it's her saying, hey, on top of I made it, but I also think it's her, like, whatever it is. Usually when I see it, I'm already in my head having conversations about a thing I should or should not be doing toward whatever goal. And then I'll see it and I'll be like, yeah, I know. I'll get there. Like, that's what it's like to me.
Was she sick before she died?
Very.
That, and then there's something, I just got the chills. There's something about you, again, I have to say this and then I'll stop fucking saying it. I apologize if anything I say comes off offensive. I just can't filter myself whenever I speak, because I can't. What I'm getting from her though is I feel like it's very hard for you to deal with your emotions when it comes to like loss. And I feel like the 4-4 is her, 1, getting your attention, 2, letting her know, that she made it, but 3, also letting you know that you have some work to do on feeling your feelings. And so, she makes me feel like she was sick before she passed away, and it feels like it was like a fucking roller coaster ride and you had to be her strength. And I feel like you're continuing to be that, or you feel that way, because when I connect with your energy, it feels like that, like I still have to be strong, but I just heard her say you can be weak too. And I feel like, I don't know, within the next couple of months you're going to start noticing that, like where you're allowing the tears to come and you're not fighting them off and whatnot. So
pick up my purse and get up out of here. Yes, all of that resonates. Yes.
I'm crying. I can't see your face, but I'm crying because I know the story.
Well, you see me hiding behind my windscreen. No ma'am. Oh, no ma'am.
It's funny because they'll use a lot of whenever I do readings, they'll use my life experiences. And I talk about some things openly and then I don't publicly because it affects a lot of people that are close to me. But one of the things that she's referencing is how I lost my friend and I felt the same way, except I had a nervous breakdown. I legit had a fucking nervous breakdown and had to like go on meds, checked myself into the hospital. Because I never dealt with it. And then I got severe postpartum anxiety and depression after I got pregnant. And so they forced it on me, and I feel like when I say they, I'm talking about spirit, because if I didn't deal with it, I wouldn't be where I am today, and a lot of growth came from it. And I feel like it's kind of the theme with you is like, I'll put it on the back burner, I'll deal with it later, I'll deal with it later, I'll deal with it later, and then 5-10 years go by, and then you're like, wait, why am I still thinking about this? And it feels like when I connect with you, like it happened yesterday. So my advice is to let the emotions come and feel them, and you have an issue with being weak or vulnerable. I feel like you need to work on that, and I feel like your friend is teaching you that, her passing is teaching you that. And the good thing is after you work on her passing, you're gonna feel closer to her because she taught you that. And so we've just been pushing her away though, like a motherfucker. I feel it so strongly. I feel like she's been trying to connect with you, and it's like, not now. And I'm not saying that you're saying that. It just feels like I'm not ready. I'll deal with it later. Again, it's on the back burner, and you're more than ready. And I feel like you doing that, you dealing with the emotions of it will open you up more to your psychic gifts. One of the things I want to say too is I feel like people think that like being a psychic is a superpower, and it does seem like that, but it's not as like. I mean, it is magical, but it's not as much as a superpower as everybody thinks. Again, we all have the ability. So those trying to work on their gifts, try to change your mindset with it. If you think that it's out of your reach, then it's going to be out of your reach. But it's not. It's there. The ability's there. You just kind of have to surrender to it and let it come out.
Thank you.
Did she almost die prior to dying? I just feel like she makes me feel like a fucking fighter. And did she have cancer or something like cancer? Yes. Where it's all over? Yeah, because she just showed me all over her body. Hold on.
All over, yes.
Yeah.
In her blood, so all over.
And then, I just got the chills. And then she shows me, it's like this stubbornness where I'm not going to die. Like that's the thing I see a lot too with people is they think that it's all about your mindset. But I do feel like I'm fighting it. I'm trying everything. Some people, like my friend, after she got her diagnosis, they gave her 9 months to live and she died 2 days later. But with your friend, it feels like, you guys are going to have to like pull me out of here. And then that's weird. Did she enjoy dancing? I just keep seeing her dancing.
I don't know, but she was the life of a party.
Yeah. I keep hearing noises too. I feel like she's going to set some alarms off. She just showed me a smoke detector. Have you had that happen at your house where like a smoke detector or something goes off? What?
We just replaced all of our nests because they have been malfunctioning and saying, there's smoke in the kids' room. There's smoke in the kids' room, and we could not get it to stop, so we had to take them all down, unplug them. And I'm waiting for the replacements.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's your friend. See, and the thing is you want to cry so bad because I can feel it so strongly, but you need to cry later. Just go into the closet and close the door and like cry into a pillow. It's okay. But just know that she's like your little spirit guide showing you the way. And I feel like she's teaching you to feel more. And it's, again, like, I don't know who the fuck fucked with you, but when you were, she makes me feel like growing up you had it rough. And especially when it comes to, hold on, I don't know if your mom was like really hard on you or controlling, but there's like different aspects to this because it's coming in all at once. But anyways, there's like this lack of ability to be vulnerable. And I feel like you working on that, like that's your superpower. You allowing yourself to be vulnerable. And I do feel like obviously the people close to you, you let them see that side of you. And I'm not saying for you to cry every day, but I definitely feel like surrendering and allowing emotions to come in and be a little bit of a softie will help you significantly when it comes to connecting with her. Because right now I feel like she's fucking with you because she's trying to get you, I was going to say on the right path, but you're on the right path, on the path to believing in this more and your faith and whatnot. And I just heard her say, don't be so solid in saying that you're an atheist or that you have no belief systems, because you do. It feels like that's like an old belief system that's being outgrown.
What's crazy is when she passed was the exact moment that I decided to convert to Judaism. My husband is Jewish, and it was never a thing that I wanted to do for myself because I grew up in like without religion, and I was like, oh, I like the way his family is. I like the way they have, you know, these moments of togetherness that are required based on, you know, the traditions of the faith. But then I started reading about the faith and I was like, oh, I could fuck with this. But I would always have a hard time explaining, like, oh, I could fuck with Judaism, but I don't really do organized religion. And you sound crazy saying that to someone, but like, I did it for, you know, my kids to have a solid, you know, place to land and have a faith. And so when she died, I said, fuck it, I'm doing it. And then that's it. And every anniversary of her death is the day that I did my mikvah. So she has it's a lot.
I know. I can feel it. But I feel like there's like an old belief system there where I feel like you were like, I don't believe in God. Like it's like you found strength in it. And I feel like you being able to say that you are Jewish and whatnot, that's allowing yourself to be vulnerable and not so strong. It's like I keep hearing her say, you don't have to be so strong all the time. There's something too that she keeps bringing up where like a lot of people broke your trust, and it doesn't, I'm asking her who, and it feels just like one thing after another. I feel like I'm asking her, like, let's go back to childhood. It feels like ongoing, kind of like me, where you had it pretty fucking hard all up until like mid-30s. Was your mom like really hard on you, or were the women in your family like super strong?
Super strong to the point of absent.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. Not like more male dominant energy, where there's like this lack of being nurtured, and then there's a whole nother double whammy when it comes to the dad stuff. But I feel like that's where you develop the belief system of, I have to be strong, I have to like always be on this defense, I have to like put my dukes up and fight. And I do feel like she's making me feel like you've worked on it, that mindset from throughout your life. But I feel like this coming year you're definitely gonna like let that go, and it feels like, oh my god, like you're gonna love deeper, like you're just gonna have so much more meaning when it comes to your life. So she sees everything though, and I feel like, holy fuck, you're so stubborn. She just makes me feel like she's been trying to get your attention, and it's not just the alarms, it's other things too, where I don't know what she's writing out. It's like very fuzzy. I don't know if you're seeing her name. It's like all these like they're not even coincidences. And I feel like in your head you're like, no, it's whatever. Like shrugging it off.
Yeah, I've had a lot of she does that. The coincidence thing, to where it's the coincidence is so insane it can't be a coincidence. And I'm like, I hear you, I see you, thank you. The pen. So the first day I started my conversion lessons with the rabbi, he had a cup of pens, thousands of pens in a thing, and I just pulled one, started using it, and then I looked at it, and it had her full name on it, her government name.
Oh, okay,
and
so it was her name. I love that.
And I was just like, it was like a thing in my body. I was like, yo, what, this can't be. And I asked him, do you know this woman? And he was like, oh, there's two in town. Because, you know, Jews know, all the Jews in this town know all the Jews. And he's like, there's two in town. There's one who makes the pen. She owns a company that makes these pens. And then there's the other one, but, you know, she doesn't come to this synagogue. And I was like, okay, because the other one is my friend. But I pulled the pen with her name on it.
Yeah. I know, I used to be shocked, but now I have no idea how they do it, but they do it. I mean, I found a little charm of my friend's initial, a P, on my counter. I'm like, how the fuck did that get there? I mean, I've walked, like when I first started going online to practice on people, one day I was like partying all night. I wasn't drunk though when I got home, and I got home at like 5:30 in the morning, and I lived by myself. It was the very first apartment I had with my daughter, and my whole living room was covered in feathers, like the whole living room. And that's my angel sign. I have a jar full of, I kept all of them. I even took a picture of it. And so I get like the craziest signs, and I feel like I was a lot like you in a sense, where it has to be that extreme, or I'm like, nope, don't believe in it. But now I've had so many experiences that I like giggle to myself, like, okay, thanks guys, I get it. Like, I know this is from whoever, or I know that I just needed an extra push or whatever. They're always watching us. It's crazy. But I do feel within the next 3 to 5 years that everyone's awareness is going to open up in a way where more people are going to have stronger faith, and religion's not going to be as prominent. And I definitely feel like there's going to be more stuff on aliens and different realms, and people are going to start exploring their belief systems. It's exciting.
I'm super excited.
I'm so stressed out. Thank you.
Don't be stressed. Just have faith. It's all gonna see. I'm not stressed. I feel like that what's behind us was so stressful and whatnot, and this is gonna be more of like us being all connected together, and not connected to assholes, connected more to like this loving vibration.
Yeah, I feel like I've just been like given permission to not that I needed the permission, but like I've been given it.
Well, and maybe she keeps throwing 44 at the rest of us, as maybe because if she's trying to be aggressive about it, the reason Lisa sees it, the reason that Megan and I see it, is that she's just trying to be like, hi, like everybody else is seeing this. And so like our reminders to you is maybe her trying to.
Yeah. I agree. Because then I feel like then Melissa's like, well, why are all these other people getting it too? It's definitely like fucking with your head a little bit.
Wow, thank you. Just real quick, what does your name mean?
I don't know. My parents were hippies. My sister's name's Harmony. We all have three middle. My full middle name is Kareen April Sky Darlene Berger. That's my like legal name.
I love that.
Kareen April Sky.
Yeah. So my parents were hippies. They were going to name, my sister's name's Harmony. They were going to name me Melody. And then my brother's name's Justin, for just in time, because we're twins and he was born in the hallway. So like there's not, my dad said he made it up. I think it was high when he made it up. I don't know. But the crazy thing is I looked up the meaning, and it's like the Shay, which is like these fairy people, the queen of the Shay. So it's like the queen of the fairies. That's the meaning of my name. So it's weird, but that's not the intention behind it. That wasn't my parents' intention.
My husband's name is Justin, and Melody was on my baby name list.
Was it really?
Oh, really? That's funny.
So, Kareen, you're starting a podcast, and you're going to launch it in the beginning of the year.
I am. So it's going to be called Walking on Feathers. That's going to be the name of my book as well. Just from finding angel feathers. I explained one sign, but I get them quite a bit. After my friend died, I found angel feathers in my bathtub. I went to go take a shower and it was covered in feathers. And I have so many different experiences. So the podcast is called Walking on Feathers, and it's basically going to be, I don't want to label it a spiritual podcast, but it is going to do with the afterlife. So, and everything in between. So the very first episode is going to be me and my daughter. She has a gift. She's only 10, so she doesn't really know a lot about it, but I thought it would be cool to have her on and explain the experiences that she has had, because she's had some. And then I'm just going to have a lot of like healers, psychics, different clients, people who have had experiences with the afterlife. So we're going to talk all things like angels and different dimensions and ghosts and healing and belief systems and chakras and just all things spiritual. So I'll be launching it probably the first week in January. I'm taking pictures next Friday for it. I'm so excited.
We're so excited.
Very cool. I know. I can't wait to listen.
I'm going to smash that like button.
I know. I'm interested in your classes because I'll do your meditations through your website. And the first one, though, I couldn't make it through because I just started crying like halfway through it. But I did. That was like the waterfall. Is there one where we're sitting by a body of water or going under a waterfall?
I feel like they're all like that. I mean, not all of them, but I always do like a body of water because I feel like that is like represents clearing.
Yes.
So that might be the one you're talking about. I think is connecting with departed loved ones.
Yes,
right?
so I did that one. I made it halfway through. I started crying and I had to stop. And then the second one I did was the heart and the angel hand coming out of the heart and doing that one. But I had a hard time. So I'm going to keep trying because I I love this stuff.
You're just like such an empath. I feel like you need to read. There's this book, I haven't read it yet, but it's sitting on my nightstand. It's called The Empath Experience: What to Do When You Feel Everything. And then there's also another book called The Empath Survival Guide. I feel like that would be very helpful for you. So then you understand why you're like so sensitive. I hate when people say sensitive because I feel like it's like demeaning, but I think it's a superpower.
Well, I'm also like a person that doesn't love feelings, so I try to like tamp it down.
Totally. I feel like that was ingrained as you because it's like you're being too much of a girl if you feel. But get over that because I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are starting to change. I mean, I used to be like that too, and now I'm like, I don't want to have to go to therapy for 5 more years, so I'd rather just deal with this now and cry.
Yeah. For sure. All right. Well, why don't you give your Instagram handles for your personal stuff if people want to book a reading with you, and connect for the podcast and all that good stuff.
So my Instagram is Medium Kareen. I believe there's no spaces. My name's spelled Kareen. And Facebook is the same. I just got on TikTok. It's the same. I don't know if you guys are on TikTok. Holy shit. That thing is like not good. Don't do it. I wasted so much time just like watching videos. And then my website is mediumkareen.com. And again, and then I have the podcast Instagram that's just Walking on Feathers, and there are spaces in between, I believe. So, and that there's a link on my business, my Medium Kareen Instagram for that one too.
And we'll link out from our podcast stuff with your stuff too, just in case somebody doesn't have a pen and paper. We'll put it up. But I thank you so very much for doing this. I feel like I followed you for so long, and I feel like this weird connection to you, and I don't know if that's just me being weird, but I was so excited when you agreed to do this because we both have an interest in this stuff. And so getting to talk to an expert and have somebody that, you know, doesn't feel scammy or weird, like you just feel like a regular normal mom that just like was like, holy shit, I have this gift and now I'm going to share it with people and help them.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And it's so funny. I just looked at the clock and it's 11:55. So talk about angel numbers.
I know. And a weird text message just came through on my phone and it said 888.777. And I was like, I got to go. This lady got to go. I can't do none of this more with y'all. Y'all got to go.
You will, Melissa, you will start getting more signs, but it's not, as you know, like you're very sensitive to, this is the last thing I'll say and then I'll let you guys go. I feel like you're very sensitive to people's energy like we talked about, but I definitely feel like you're significantly gifted. So in the next coming year, when you start dealing with your shit and like feeling your feelings, I definitely feel like you'll start picking up on more things. And when I say that, it feels like more psychic and mediumship stuff, but just like knowing and feeling, you'll be able to feel things before they happen, or sometimes you'll be able to telepathically connect where you just know what somebody's going to say or they're thinking and whatnot. So just saying it so you don't write it off.
Okay, thank you. Dial tone, thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. It was so nice to meet both of you.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Big thank you to Kareen for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with us, and we hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. If you would like to book a reading with Kareen, you can find her on Instagram at mediumkareen, or visit her website, www.mediumkareen.com.
Yep. And if you're going to book it, be ready. Don't be caught off guard like I was. You got to be ready because her powers are real. She also has a podcast coming out, which she discussed at the end of the episode. You can follow that podcast that's coming out. She says the top of 2020. That's called Walking on Feathers. So you can find her on Instagram at walking_on_feathers. And that one also has a website, which will be www.walkingonfeathers.com.
And while we're on hiatus, if you need to get your Imperfect Strangers podcast fix, You can find us on Instagram at imperfectstrangers_podcast, on Twitter at imperfstrangers, and on Facebook, we have a private Facebook community. If you go to the link in our Instagram bio, click there, you can ask to be admitted. It is a good old time, probably something that you should do while we're on this little break.
Yeah, because Amanda and I really do go in there and be chit-chat with y'all. So it's a really good time for those of you who have discovered it. We're in there doling out advice, you know. We're saving marriages in there. It's a really good time. So if you get a chance, please do take the time to join the Imperfect Strangers online community. It's a private group. So there's no demons. It's all super vetted, super strangers. So it's a good time. And then while you're on hiatus, you know what else you could do? You can go hit us up on Anchor or Spotify or anywhere else you listen to podcasts, and you could just binge, hit play, start a season 1, and get to know us all over again. Refresh yourself so that when you come back January 8th, you're fully caught up on every single episode.
If you haven't yet left us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, take a minute. Literally, it takes a minute. You could just write, I just fucking love this show. You should love it too. But that truly, truly helps us. It actually does make a difference. This isn't just head pats, but it helps to move us up the very weird and elusively built podcast charts.
Listen, our goal, not just our, when I say our goal, I mean Melissa and Amanda and you listening here. Our goal is we gotta bum rush. We gotta fuck them up. We gotta say, hey guys, this podcast is really fabulous and special. What the fuck is your problem? Are you gonna verify them or not? Are you gonna fucking make them exclusive on your little fucking whatever the fuck platform you have? Do it already. I mean, I'm just saying, you gotta put it out in the universe. And I just feel like this podcast is very special. So it's gonna be our job, everybody.
And maybe if you don't want to put it so aggressively into the universe, you could just
listen. We gonna the podcast universe. Okay?
Quick, Lisa, make a drawing. And with that, you guys, hop on Patreon, buy our merch, support us. We love you guys. We love this community. We hope you guys have a great and safe New Year's Eve at home, by yourself or with your family or your pod.
No, don't be doing it with your family. When you know what I said about household mixing. Stay your ass in the house, wash your hands, wear your mask, and
I
we
meant
will
like
see you.
Their household.
Okay, don't be household mixing. We'll see you in 2021. Love you so much. Come back here without the Rona. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Do we want to tell them the big news first?
I think we should. Yeah, let's tell them.
All right. Well, welcome to your last episode ever of Imperfect Strangers. We should have let that one breathe. They'd have been like, what the fuck? We got to try that again.
Okay, do it again.